Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. If you couldn't tell from the title, we have a returning guest on the show today. Who is it? Who's there? What guest is out there? Say hello.
It's me. I'm here.
Who's
three-peat.
Three-time guest Josh Pilch is back.
That's right. I'm back. And I guess this is my third time. So after this, I will be three-time guest.
I think right now it counts. This very moment it counts as 3 times. Yes.
Right. The moment that I started speaking on the recording, that's the three-peat. Here I am.
Yep. Unless I kick you out, then it won't count.
I see. No, I'm already here.
You're already here. I can't get rid of you.
Yeah.
It's everything is locked down.
Exactly. Spencer, I this just occurred to me. Am I your only guest who is a friend that you met on this podcast?
Wait, what?
Well, the first time we ever spoke was on this podcast.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's see. There are other people that speaking on this podcast was the first time that I had ever spoken to them. So you're not the first one. But you are probably the first and only one that has we've built a friendship around this. I think that is safe to say.
Yeah.
There is someone else who will we haven't scheduled yet, but will be getting her third time on this podcast.
Oh wow.
And she actually came on my wife's podcast before she ever came on this podcast. So we had already sort of developed a little bit of a rapport. So she'll be coming back at the end of the Fs for some fun stuff back then. But you know, we don't text. You know, like you and I do sometimes.
Yeah, we text.
Yeah, we actually text. And so yeah, you're definitely like a new adult friend, which is a very rare experience.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I love when that happens.
And I hope that we never meet in person.
I hope so too. I never want to see your legs.
I have no idea how tall you are.
Oh, that's true. Do you want to guess?
I'm going to guess you're very similar to me, about 5'9".
Oh, no. I'm actually 6 foot. I'm I mean, like, that's not so different, but I'm a little taller.
But I would definitely be looking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm average, you're above average.
Exactly, yes. I was going to guess you were the same as me, too. I was going to guess 6 foot. I just assume everyone I see is exactly the same height as me.
Oh, of course. I wish I had that extra 3 inches. Yeah. I would feel so much better about myself.
Yeah. I wish I had an extra 3 inches.
I wasn't going to go there, but that's okay. What brings you to the podcast today?
Well, what brings me today is kind of what brought me here in the first place, which is our shared fandom of They Might Be Giants.
That's right. Many moons ago, I don't know if it was me or you. It was probably you, actually, who reached out and said, I think I should come on the Flood episode.
That's right, yes, because my first episode was the Else episode, the name of a They Might Be Giants album. So when we get to F's, I have to do Flood, the name of another They Might Be Giants album, perhaps their most popular album.
Very likely, yeah.
And then I got to do Glean.
Well, funny you should mention that. I took the liberty and I went ahead and I looked at all of the names of the They Might Be Giants albums.
Right.
And I tried to see if I could come up with a word, either a word from the title that would make sense for you to come on to that episode. And so not all of them work great, I will admit, but I put them in alphabetical order.
Okay.
We obviously have Glean. That's coming up maybe in a year or two. Next would be maybe the word Henry, if it's even in the dictionary. I haven't checked.
Well, it also could be here come the 1, 2, 3s.
That's next on the list. That's
Okay.
next. The word
Oh,
here.
I see.
Yeah. So you're right. Here come the 1, 2, 3s. Here come the ABCs. Here comes science. Here is definitely a good one for that. Then there's the word John.
Okay.
John Henry. But I mean, I'm gonna assume that it's in the book, but I don't know for sure. But also, I kind of feel like maybe I could get the Johns on that episode.
Yeah, that
So
seems
we'll
like
see.
I actually have no connection to the band whatsoever. I just
Don't worry,
am
I'm not going to
here.
ask you. But also in the Jays, we do have the word join,
Join,
for their
yeah.
album Join Us. So that's not terrible.
Just to back up real quick though,
Sure.
There's I, and
I think
the
I
obvious
like
choice
fun.
there is I. I like fun.
Right. Well, so I sort of skipped over I, and for that one, I put like. No, wait. What did I do?
I
yeah.
see.
No. Wait. Did I put like? Yes. Something. There's something funny in my list here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Right.
I is going to be an interesting word to talk about for sure.
For sure.
And then we have Lincoln. That one's pretty
Right.
easy.
Yeah.
Assuming Lincoln's even in the dictionary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then we have mink for mink
Mink.
car.
Right.
Then we have nanobot.
Right. That's oh man. I can't wait till we get to that one. I'll probably be 80 years old, but
I was gonna say we're gonna be retired.
yeah.
Let's see.
Spencer, no one's going to ever retire again.
No, we can't afford to.
That's right.
Also, if I'm having fun doing stuff like this, why would I ever retire in the first
There
place?
you go. That's the positive spin
Yeah.
on it.
Let's see. No, that one's pretty
There you
easy.
go. Yeah.
I've already done the word factory, so instead I got the word showroom.
Okay.
Factory showroom. What was the one? Oh, long, tall weekend. I didn't really
right.
put any of those in there. Long, tall. I don't know. Those seemed a little bit like not punchy enough.
Yeah. Pretty
But-
basic words.
Exactly. But then I have the word spine.
Great. That's a great. Yeah.
That's a good one. And then potentially, way down the road, the word Y. W-H-Y. For they have an EP, right? Called Y.
I wasn't Y one of the.
Was it a full one?
I think it was one of the kids' albums.
Yes, I couldn't remember. I thought that maybe it was a short version, but you're right. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't a short one. I don't know. Obviously, there were some other ones that I sort of skipped over. There's like My Murdered Remains, and I was
Right.
I don't know about that, but you know, we got time to figure
Have
it
me
out.
on for my.
Yeah, my.
I want to be on for I and my. I'm kind of an egotist as well.
Yeah,
so.
right. It's all about you.
Yeah.
Those will be the only two that you're on ever again. I and my.
Perfect.
And maybe me for some reason.
Yeah, that'd be good. I me my.
Yeah.
That's a Beatles song.
We're crossing podcast streams.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But that's what
so-
happens when you dive into the dictionary.
Oh yeah. In alphabetical order, you end up talking about literally everything, and it's been very fun for me.
That's yes. Yep. It's been fun for me to listen and occasionally join in.
And if I haven't said it before, I really appreciate that you are a regular, I assume regular listener. I'm just going to say definitely regular listener.
Definitely regular listener.
Hell,
Sometimes you know what? Every morning I I download the dictionary and NPR's Up First. I read the description of Up First. It makes me sad. I delete it and then I listen to the dictionary.
don't even read the description. Just jump right into
Well,
it. You know it's going to be
probably not
fantastic.
going to make me sad. So
No. I mean, it could.
it could.
Every once in a while, it's rare, but more often than not, it's going to make you feel fantastic, I think.
That's right. I mean, well,
You'll-
sometimes there's serious words, and and
Yes.
you might feel a feeling beyond whimsy.
Beyond joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whimsy, quirkiness, yes.
Yes.
So, you know, keep all those words that I just said in the back of your mind as
Will
the years
do.
go on.
Yeah.
I'll only have you back for They Might Be Giants album
Perfect.
words.
It's kind of confusing that I did that one that was
Oh, was it in the E's or the F's? I can't. It was you and
E's.
Jesse, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was at the end of the E's.
And it's a word that means like improvise.
Yes.
I forget.
Was
now.
it an EU word?
Yeah. What? It's not coming to me. It
was like off the top of your head.
Yeah.
This is really great content that we're giving everybody right now.
Well, let me Google myself. Josh Pilch, the dictionary.
Google yourself. Oh, I Google myself all the time. I'm gonna find it.
Hey, now need that 3 extra inches.
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, that was something else. Oh, I usually draw a little star next to the episodes that have guests, but maybe I didn't do that. Maybe it wasn't EU. Maybe it was something else.
Oh wait, I know why. Because it was Josh and Jesse on that one. I put Josh Pilch. EXT to extend. It was an EX word. Extemporaneous.
Extemporaneous.
There we go. So yeah, all They Might Be Giants albums and extemporaneous.
Yeah. Well, if there's ever like letters that don't have a They Might Be Giants album attributed to them, which there will be, then we were like, oh, if we get very sad that we don't get to record for a while, we'll have to just make something up.
I think that's right. Yeah. And then
And then yeah.
Well,
the They Might Be Giants album that we are talking about today, which we already mentioned, is Flood. This is their, off the top of your head, is it their fourth? Third. Right. It was the Pink album, then Lincoln, and then Flood.
That's right.
Yeah. Why does it feel like the fourth to me? But yes, it must be the third. Their third album it says it right there, from 1990. In fact, that is mentioned in the very first song called Theme from Flood.
That's right. Hey, a lot of good things were created in 1990 because that's the year I was born.
I was going to say, is that when you were born?
Yeah.
Oh man, I was 10.
Wow,
10.
I don't think of us as having see, that's adult friends. It's I don't think of us as having this age gap.
Right, they could be anywhere from 25 to 55.
Yeah. Right.
Really. Well, so I'm older, but you're taller, and I don't think that means anything. But
yeah, but no, I think that kind of evens it out to where like I'm
both shorter, like more
85.
immature. Yeah, it averages out.
Yeah,
because I get the logic there, of course.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we can't really talk about Flood too much because we haven't talked about the word yet. But we can talk about is the first word in this episode, which is the word flocking.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Do you have the list up there, or you?
I do. I'm looking at it right now.
Flocking is a noun from circa 1874, and it is a design in flock. And I think I have to remind myself what a flock is.
I have no idea what flock is because that episode hasn't even come out yet by the time, at the point that we're recording this.
Isn't it weird to be a guest on your favorite show?
It's so weird. I'm like spoiling myself,
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you think that's how airs... when they made the new Star Wars movies, like, do you think like Daisy Ridley was like, she'd get her like, lines for the day and she's like, this is a spoiler. I don't want to ruin Star Wars.
Why didn't you give me a redacted version?
Yeah. Next time, please bring me a script with just a black line over the whole thing.
And then just do my whole performance in AI so I don't have to get this whole movie spoiled.
There you go. I think, there's a lot of good reasons to just replace everyone with AI.
Yeah. So the movie that they're in isn't spoiled.
There you go.
Well, so flock, let's see. So this is the noun flocking. It's a design in flock. And if I go back, let's see. Ooh, flock noun is a tuft of wool or cotton. Has a lot to do with these fibers, very short or pulverized fiber, often in a velvety pattern or cloth on paper or a protective covering on metal.
Huh.
And so I think when you use that type of flock and you make a design out of it, or the design on that type of the velvety pattern is the flocking, I think.
I think that's right. Like, I feel like where I've heard this is like with the trim on Santa's hat is maybe flocking.
Oh, that's called the flocking? Or the
maybe.
flock? That would make sense
It's
because
flocking made of flock.
yeah, I'm sure that the trim is made out of that, like wool or cotton or something to keep his forehead warm.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know also Santa, like his head is just like a big floppy cone up in there. So, but only his forehead gets cold. The floppy cone part doesn't get as cold.
Well, no, because he's got a hat on.
Right. Right.
He is he like The Point? Did you ever hear about that movie, The Point?
No, I've heard of cone heads.
There's that too, yeah. The Point is like a whole group of people who wear pointed hats, and their heads fit perfectly in the pointed hats because they have pointed heads, but one of them does not have a pointed head, and he gets expelled out of their culture, and he has to go on a journey with his dog. And I saw this when I was a child, and I don't remember it very well, but I would really like to see it again.
That sounds interesting. It sounds weird.
Yeah, and it's a musical too. There's songs.
Wow. The Point.
The Point. It's an animated movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's from the 70s.
Huh. Well, did you know I'm an animator?
Wait, what? I
Yeah,
had no
that's
idea.
my job.
Your day-to-day job is making drawings move. Well, then you should definitely watch The Point.
Yeah, I'm kind of want to Google it right now.
This was pre-computers for sure.
Oh, I've seen this. Oh my gosh, I've seen this. I'll tell you where. At Augenblick Animation Studios on the shelves with all the DVDs.
Really?
Yeah.
Where you work, whatever. They had a bunch of movies there at the office.
Yeah. In the studio, there's like a big shelf full of books and DVDs and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you should go borrow it.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
The Point.
The Point. Let me know what you think, because I want to watch it again.
Will do. So I think we explained flocking pretty well.
I think we did, and I think what that means now is that it's time for a sound effect.
Right.
Which I'm sure you thought of ahead of time.
Well, I did. I tried not to think too much, but
It's a good life lesson.
Don't think too much. But the last time I was on for Else, I tried to make a sound effect out of each track on the album The Else. So I think it's only fair that I should. It's only fair
to the albums
to the albums. Good point. That I should do the same for Flood. So my first sound effect will be based on the first track on Flood. And so, yeah, I think the sound effect has to go like this. Flood.
Beautiful pitch, beautiful tone.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a very beautiful what's the word I'm looking for? Chorale, choir song, people singing.
Right. It is it's a chorus, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. A small chorus, I think.
Yeah. There's harmonies and octaves and all kinds of things.
all of those musical terms are in
Definitely
there.
Notes.
Right. Pitches, I think, also along with the notes,
and
they're
pitches.
pitches.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's
you
a good
know
one.
all of those notes and pitches. Well, they're on a staff.
Maybe a treble clef staff and a bass staff.
Perhaps
with words written down too.
Right. Words are said in
Lyrics.
the pitch. Right. Lyrically
Yes.
are said within the pitch. This is all how the song theme from Flood is described on the They Might Be Giants wiki. So everything we just said word for word. Yeah, you can see all that.
I think John Eulis should update it to what we said.
Yes. Get John Eulis on this. I've never met him, but
I haven't either. Just heard his name a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
Number one fan.
Well, since the sound effect has been made, we will now move to the second word in this episode, which is the word flow, Floe. Not the flow from the recent animated movie. No.
I wish it was. I want to talk to you about that movie. I love that movie.
I love that movie too. I did record that episode. Unfortunately, I was not able to get Gintz on that episode.
I know. Well, he became super famous because his movie is just like rocketed into the stratosphere.
Yeah. And his social media is great, and like Latvia is freaking out over his awards.
Yeah.
So good.
It's amazing story.
I don't know, just because we're on the word flow and we're already talking about it. What else, real quick, do you have to say that you want to say about it?
About the movie Flow?
Or anything about that?
All
right, time's up.
Look, I think you've already said this. It's awesome that a completely independent animated movie is like connecting with people all over the world, completely outside of the studio system, from a country that's not really known for making movies.
Never even heard of them.
Commercially successful movies. Never heard of them.
Yeah.
I sort of want to talk to you more about interpreting the movie, because I've intentionally tried to avoid reading interpretations of it, because I hold an interpretation of it that I really connect with, and don't want it to be like disproven or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then you shouldn't talk to anybody.
I guess that's right.
I'm not typically one who's very good at coming up with interpretations. I'm a very literal person, so I don't typically come up with like metaphorical interpretations. Not that I don't ever, but it's not like where my brain goes to first. I also don't really look up stuff. Like, I don't read reviews. Like, I'll read the trivia about stuff, but I don't like read articles really about stuff either. Which I think I would find them interesting. I just don't feel like I have the time. So yeah, I haven't really read interpretations about it either. Is this an on the mic thing or an off the mic thing?
I'm worried it's a spoiler, but it has been out for a while. Should I?
You can just you tell me your interpretation afterwards.
Okay.
I'll keep on recording, and then I'll see if I want to put it in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can put it at the end, and anybody who hasn't watched it yet can.
It's a special thing at the end.
There you go.
Stay to the end of the episode for some secret stuff.
Yeah.
But I love that movie. It's just so beautiful, and there's no talking, and it was made on a free program.
Yes,
called
that's
Blender,
true, right.
And, like, it's just beautiful. If you haven't seen Flow, go see Flow.
Plus kitty cats.
And yeah, cats and animals. Come on. They're the best.
They are.
All right. We are still on the word flow.
That's right.
Floe.
With an E.
With an E. Noun from 1817. Number 1. Floating ice formed in a large sheet on the surface of a body of water. And then number 2, the synonym is just ice flow. So it is literally ice sitting on a body of water, which I think is very similar to a glacier, but I think glaciers are usually on land, and I guess the flow is on the water. What are your thoughts?
Oh, right, a glacier. Yeah, I think that's right. A flow, to me, what I'm picturing is the Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Link is hopping on these like perfectly like cylindrical flat bits of ice that are kind of just like there in perfect platform formation.
How convenient.
I think those are flows.
Sure.
Or
I think so.
According to this synonym, another way of saying that is, I think those are ice flows.
Those are ice flows. Those pieces of ice in perfect circles sitting on the water are flows of ice.
Those are flows of ice.
Man, that was, I think, the last Zelda game I played.
It's
the
the best
Ocarina
one.
of Time. From what year would that have been? The early
96.
2000s? 90s. Oh, geez, 90s. Even further.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So I don't specifically remember those ice cylinders, but I'm sure I must have. I think I got stuck at some point.
Them. But of course, you were 16 and I was 6. But because of my height, actually, we were both.
You were actually
12.
11. Yeah, we were both emotionally and mentally at the same age.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we still are emotionally and mentally.
Still,
12.
we haven't changed. Yes, 100%, 100%. So yeah, you were probably much better at that game because you were physically 6.
Right.
96? Yeah. Wait a minute. Is that right?
I think so. Ocarina of Time, I'm pretty sure.
You want to put money on it? No,
yeah. $1.
$1. Released in Japan and North America in 1998.
Oh!
But your answer was a lot closer than mine because I think I said early 2000s.
Well, no, I mean 96. Oh, I see. It's a little closer, yeah.
It's right in the middle, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it, but okay. Oh man, that game. Whew, there was some good stuff
so
in that
good.
game. Yeah. So we somehow got onto Zelda from the word flow. We should talk about the etymology real quick, which is probably from the Norwegian word flow with no E, which means flat layer. So just flat ice, flat layer. That's all it is.
Norway, they got to have lots of flows there, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like that's a land of ice.
That's, I think, what Norway means is land of ice. Yeah, for sure.
If you look at the parts of that word, land, way of ice.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It's actually very easy to break down into what I think it might actually mean. Just kidding. It means land of ice.
Of course it means land of ice. Now I'm going to get a lot of hate
Not
mail
north
from Norway. Or pathway.
Or Norse, yeah.
No, none of those. No, it's definitely land of ice. Would you like to make another sound effect for this episode?
You mean one based on track 2 from from Flood?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some noises that I feel like I hear in the bridge of track 2 from Flood, and they go like this.
Do you want to say the? Do you want to say the title of track 2?
Well, of course, it's Birdhouse in Your Soul.
For those who don't know.
And yeah, there's like a bridge where it goes like bow. Bow, bow, bow. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Only kind of. I would definitely need to re-listen again to hear those specific sounds, but I am very happy that you came up with that and did that.
I don't even know what
instrument
it is.
I don't know, but it sounds like some sort of twangy something.
Yeah.
Josh's mouth is a twangy something.
If I had a nickel for every time someone told me that,
that's going to be my next hit single.
Josh has a twangy mouth.
Josh's mouth is a twangy something.
That's what it was.
It goes twangy, twangy, twang. Bow, bow. All right. I really hope that people are appreciating this amazing episode.
I think we were learning a lot of words. Flocking,
oh, we
flow,
are.
The rest.
And now, number 3. The third word is flog. F-L-O-G. Oh, this should be good. This is a verb from circa 1676. We are starting with transitive. Number 1, A. To beat with, or as if with, a rod or whip.
Yikes.
That
I
is
don't
the
want to be
appropriate response.
flogged.
No. I think there was a Monty Python sketch where they said, I'm trying to remember the context. It was something about a little rope or strings or something, and they were talking about getting rid of rats or something. And then we'll flog them to death.
It sounds like something they'd say.
Yes, absolutely. I can't remember the exact context of the sketch. It's sort of in there in my brain. I haven't heard it for a long time, but it was something in there.
I know there's a stoning in in Life of Brian.
Yes, definitely.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
flogging.
this was probably from. I mean, I heard it on audio, and so.
Right,
But
okay.
it was probably from the Flying Circus. But
see.
I was listening. I heard it when I was kind of young, and I was always a little confused by what that word meant. Flog them to death. And I could be wrong about the word, but I did just look them up, and it does say flogging a dead parrot. So there is obviously the parrot sketch, which is classic. So maybe they mention it there. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, well, if they're bigger than a mouse, you can strangle them with it, and if they're smaller, then you flog them to death with it. Okay, what is this from?
What is it, and who are they, I wonder?
Is this a song? What is this? It says string is the name.
String.
I don't know. Oh, yes, there was a whole thing about string. That was the whole context of yeah, they were trying to sell string. It was like an ad company. I mean, there's the whole lyrics here for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, come in, Mr. Simpson. Welcome to Mousebad Foggle. Oh, wow. Yes, it was all about selling string. Anyway.
I do not remember. I'm looking at the video of it too. We got Eric Idle dressed as a lady.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I never saw the visual, so I don't know, but I remember this word in this one sketch. So yes,
Right.
you'll have to go check that one out.
I have a different association for flogging.
Go for it. Is it this definition or one of the future definitions?
I think it's this one, but it's
Okay.
a little racy too.
Bring it.
Rock Irish jig band flogging Molly.
Ah, yes. Everybody knows flogging Molly. Do you know? Well, we guess you don't have to say if you don't want to. What the meaning of flog in that context is? Is that
Can I whisper it to you what I think it might mean?
Yeah, they won't hear if you whisper it. Here, I'll get really close to the screen.
Yeah, thank you. I'll do the same. I think it might be jerking off.
Oh, it's really good that you whispered that because we
Yeah.
wouldn't want people to hear that.
No, that's disgusting.
Ah, nobody has ever done that in the history of the world.
What if I'm wrong about that though?
Let's see. I'm looking this up. Let's see. Can I read this quickly? The LA bar Molly Malone's is named taken from a handful of Irish. The Irish bands. Beat a rib is very commonly used as a flog a dead horse. The original meant to make to great effort with no hope of any return of the effort, hence a senseless, meaningless act. But more recent slang suggests that it's just an act that one does without thinking. Through its meaning or consequences, students flog their textbooks without learning, for example. Oh, there's an additional coarse meaning for flog as well. It refers to masturbation.
Okay,
be right.
so see, I'm not gross.
No, you're an adult like the rest of us.
That's right. And I'm just flogging Molly did this, okay, with their heavy Irish jigs.
and they're putting their name out there for everybody to hear, and they're forcing it on us. They're forcing us to think about what these words mean.
That's right. I don't want to
their
tell you
fault.
what I thought Pearl Jam meant.
Okay, don't. But isn't it literally one of their grandma's pearl made a jam? Or is that just the story that they tell people?
I believe, to be honest, yes, that's what they tell people. I don't believe. Yeah, I don't believe it. I think
Okay.
it's a gross thing, and yeah,
And that's it. And we're
that's
just gonna
it.
leave it at that. We're
Leave it
gonna
right
we're gonna
there.
assume that you are correct because I think you might be.
right. I mean, right.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Okay.
If you come to the dictionary for a lot of information, you're going to get it. You're just going to get it in very tangential form because we do not stick to the script, especially when
no.
Josh is on the show.
No, I know. I take us in all different directions. I can't help it.
I do a little bit, and then you take it that next level.
There we go.
1B for flog is to criticize harshly.
Well, I don't want to be flogged that way either.
No, I don't ever want to be criticized harshly. If you are going to criticize me, how about you just don't write a review? And
That's
it.
right. Do you ever get bad reviews?
Might have gotten one or two. I don't really get a lot of reviews.
Well, yeah, neither do I.
No.
Yeah.
But they are definitely I will humbly say they are definitely in the very top of the range. The 4s and 5s and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what it should be. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of maniac writes a bad review?
For somebody who's just trying to read the dictionary.
Right. I mean, you're doing it perfectly. You were reading the
Perfectly.
dictionary.
I never make any mistakes. I add a whole lot of good information.
You know what's funny? I was recently on, it's not out yet, but I was on the Weird Algorithm podcast. And they, on a previous episode, had talked about the music video I worked on, Your Horoscope for Today, for Weird
Yeah.
Al. And I came on all excited. I was like, "Oh, you talked about my video," and then I noticed that they got nervous because they're like, "We didn't say anything bad about it, did we?"
We better go check that real quick.
They did it. They were very complimentary.
That's funny. But if they had, how offended would you have really been?
I would have gone on there. I would have Gallagher'd that podcast the way Gallagher did to Mark Maron.
Oh, yeah, I actually do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was really, really awkward.
It was. I would have made it so awkward. And then we wouldn't have said anything good about Trash Day, a parody
That's what
of
you were
Hot
talking
in
about?
Here. Yeah.
No, you would have trashed Trash Day.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, I will definitely listen to that episode once it airs. You'll let me know?
I will let you know for sure.
Fantastic. I want to hear that awkwardness.
No, it was actually very positive. They're really nice guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, now we got number 2 for flog. Flog,
Two for
that's
flog.
the word we're on. To force or urge into action, and the synonym is drive. Just making something happen.
We're just flogging it along.
Flogging Molly down the road.
That's illegal. You can't. You have to do that
In 45 states. 3A. Oh, here, this will be fun. This is chiefly British, and it is to sell illegally. And examples of what is being sold is stolen goods. And the example is flogged their employer's petrol to ordinary motorists, and that is a quote from The Economist.
I
So
see.
they sold the petrol illegally.
Also chiefly British.
Yes, all very, very British. Yeah, to sell something that has been stolen and you're
Right.
selling it illegally, that's flogging.
And it does say chiefly British, but like when I picture this in my head, like it's like chiefly like Cockney, because it's like, "Oi, you You stole the petrol. We gotta flog it then.
That was really good.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm very happy that you did that voice without me asking, because I was about to ask.
Yeah, no, I can see you were about to.
Oh yeah. You, if there's an accent to be done, Josh will do it.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe Molly was kidnapped and she is now being sold illegally.
Yeah, or the band was kidnapped. They're like, I tell ya, we've been kidnapped. What are you gonna do to us? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna flog ya. No, don't flog us.
Well, how does Molly fit into this?
They are flogging Molly. That was the members of Flogging Molly. But
yes.
then Molly herself is there as well.
Is she one of the band members?
She's someone else. She's from Germany. She's like, ach, what have you done to me?
All right, this could go on for a while. We'll build on this story of flogging Molly.
Of flogging Molly, and then
Pearl Jam.
Well, I was gonna say, who's that bald actor who he talks like this? He's in like Fast and Furious.
Oh.
He's Shaw. I'm sure.
Yeah. I just watched The Beekeeper. Jason Statham.
That's it. Jason Statham. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a new one coming out.
Okay.
Which I might see. I don't know. We'll see.
What is it?
It's like the working man or something.
He's always the something, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm the working man.
The crank.
He is kind of a crank in that movie, right?
He is. I actually never saw that movie or the sequel, but I would really
Crank
like
2
to.
High Voltage?
I don't think I ever saw it.
I don't think I've seen either of them, to be honest.
But he's pretty great. He's pretty great.
He's great. Yeah, he's actually very, I like him. He's entertaining.
Yeah. The Beekeeper's fun.
Yeah. Plus, I enjoy any bald movie star.
Because it makes you think that you could be a movie star too.
That's right. Representation matters, Spencer.
It does. Didn't see anybody like yourself when you were 4 years old. And
right,
bald.
when I was a 4-year-old bald kid, I was like, where are the movie stars like me?
Where are the bald action stars?
Yeah.
And then here comes Crank.
Here comes Crank. I'm here.
I'm here. Oh, my cheeks already hurt. So now we got 3B. I don't know if this is still chiefly British,
Okay.
but the synonym is the number 7 definition for the word sell, S-E-L-L. There's an example: traveled by horse, flogging encyclopedias. That's a quote from Robert Darnton.
That darn Robert Darnton.
Selling encyclopedias, just flogging them. You're just getting rid of them.
Right. So for
money.
the British, it's to sell stolen goods, but for Robert Darnton, it's selling anything.
Really? Yeah. You want to sell something? Go flog it. Go flog it on the corner.
Just go flog it.
Yeah. 3C is to promote aggressively, and the synonym is plug, as in flying around the world, flogging your movies. That's a quote from Peter Bogdanovich, famed movie director.
That's right. So flogging can just mean anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Seems like
You
I'm
wanna-
gonna flog that. I'm gonna flog my phone and flog to my mom.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like Smurf.
Yeah,
They might
you're
as well
right.
just put
Flog-
the synonym Smurf.
I'm gonna make a movie called The Flogs.
Oh, the flogs, and everybody's just selling the flogs.
Yeah, there's Papa Flog. There's Papa Flog's flogging flogs to flogette.
I don't know what that means. It can be anything.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
You know, I was walking past here in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. I was walking past our local movie theater, Alpine Cinemas, and I saw a very interesting poster that just it had like a button on it that just said like like a button that you press, like the easy button, and it just
Okay.
said like welcome on it. And I was like, what movie is this? And then on the top of the poster, it said 3 beautiful words. You know what those words are?
Tell me those beautiful words.
I've never heard these words in this order before. Rihanna is Smurfette.
Ah. Oh my God. Does that mean that there's another Smurfs movie coming?
It must. I honestly kind of felt like I was in a dream, like a fever dream or something, looking at this poster. It really
Maybe you
made
were?
very little sense to me.
Rihanna. I've been waiting for Rihanna to be Smurfette.
Rihanna is finally Smurfette.
Yes. I see the poster. It's
What does it say on the button?
It's a Smurf finger pointing to the button, and the button says party.
Party. That's what it says. Do you think of Smurfs as being like partiers? I don't.
No, I think they're trying to capitalize on the trolls, actually.
Right. Trolls like to sing and party and stuff.
They party. They party their hair off.
Oh, trolls party.
Oh, yeah. I've actually never seen one of those movies, but I really want to.
Yeah.
Okay. The cast of
too.
this looks pretty insane.
Okay,
I'm not gonna lie.
Figure out so what is this? Is it Smurfs? Oh, it's just the new Smurfs.
This it's just called
related
Smurfs.
To the.
Chris Miller is the director.
Oh man, I want to make fun of this, but he's good.
Holy crap! Seriously, the cast just goes on and on. Oh my God. Okay, I'm down for this. You had me at Rihanna is Smurfette.
Rihanna is Smurfette.
Yeah. So Rihanna will be flogging the Smurfs. Actually, it's just called Smurfs, straight Smurfs. Rihanna will be flogging Smurfs when that movie is released.
She's probably
going
will
to be
yeah.
Promoting it aggressively.
Yeah. Smurfette with a Barbadian accent. That's interesting.
I mean, we'll see. She can perform, so maybe she'll
That's
do
true.
something else. I don't know. Maybe she'll put on a Smurfy accent.
Right. That would be appropriate.
Yes, it would. Number 4 is British for flog, and the synonym is the number 1 definition for the word steal. So you're stealing things, you're selling things illegally, or you're selling things not illegally. We call that legally. Or you're just promoting something aggressively, like you're trying to sell, like, hey, look at this thing that I did. Look at this podcast I have. But please, I'm flogging my podcast.
So if you were Jason Statham and you stole some gasoline on the promotional tour for Hobbs and Shaw, and we're going to sell the gasoline along with some encyclopedias, you might say, I just flogged some petrol and I'm gonna flog the petrol and encyclopedias while I flog my flogging movie. I mean,
Gonna flogging the flog while I'm flogging the flog.
yeah, it is Smurf. It's just Smurf.
Pretty much, yeah. I think we settled that one. It's definitely a synonym for Smurf. We have some intransitive verbs, by the way. Number 1, the synonyms are flap and flutter, as in sales, flogging. And that doesn't seem connected at all to any of the other definitions we read, which is very confusing.
It doesn't. And, well, I'll wait to say what I'm going to say after you say this next definition also.
This next definition is number 2, which is British, and it means to move along with difficulty, and the synonym is slog.
So those last 2 definitions just seem like enough people couldn't think of the word flap, flutter, or slog and have accidentally said flog instead, that it is now accepted in the dictionary.
I think that is how 50% of the words in the world have been created. Because
that sale is Flogging.
What's the word? What's the word? I can't. When it's like doing the stuff in the breeze. It's flogging. I think that's.
Well, I'm not going to check you, so that's probably right.
I'm also a middle-aged adult, so I can't think of the word either.
Yeah, exactly.
Flogger is a noun which could mean so many different things.
That guy's a whipper, a criticizer, a smuggler,
a stealer, a seller,
a merchant,
somebody who's stuck in quicksand, a sail.
Help! I'm flogging.
I can't get to it because I'm flogging. Okay. Let's look at where this word actually comes from. It is perhaps modified of the Latin flagellare, which means to whip. And there's more at the word flagellate. So that's the original definition.
It's all about whipping, it seems.
Yeah. Well, I guess the sails whip sort of when they're being
true. So that
wind.
almost maybe it wasn't a mistake.
That one works. I'll allow it.
Yeah, and criticizing harshly, that's a tongue lashing.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. We like that phrase.
We do. I appreciate that connection. Can you please make another sound effect?
Of course. Track 3, of course, is Lucky Ball and Chain.
Yep.
And which ends with kind of a choo-choo train sound. It's like... Right?
I think so. It's been so long, honestly, since I've heard most of these songs. I have to go back and check. Maybe if I have the energy, I will put in a little clip. But I don't know if I'll have the energy. But I'm definitely going to listen. It's a lot. I'm definitely going to listen to see if you're correct. But if you're not correct, I don't care. I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah, don't tell me.
No,
don't
I'm not
flog me about it.
No, I'm not going to steal you and then sell you.
Yeah.
The next word is flocati rug. This is two words. Flocati is spelled Flokati. It is a noun from 1967, and it is a hand-woven Greek woolen rug with a thick, shaggy pile. It is called also just flocati. I really love that phrase, thick, shaggy pile.
I do too, and I'm having a hard time picturing. When I'm shopping for rugs, I've got a area rug here in my living room, and
humble brag.
Sorry, that's what you get to do when you're an animator. But when I'm shopping for rugs, I'm never like, I hope it has a good pile on it.
I'm looking at pictures, and this is definitely a pile of shagginess.
Oh. Okay. Oh. I don't know if I would have called that a pile, because it's even. Yeah. It's just a big poofy rug that's evenly poofy all around.
I think of a pile as a mound. of shagginess, but clearly, I think in the rug world, they must use this word for different things.
Right. They sort of are piling the material, but
evenly across the space. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Spencer, when you
described
it, I definitely was picturing a rug with just like a little pile of wool in the middle of it.
Just a tiny little round rug that just went up like 8 inches into the air.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. The perfect kind of rug.
Yeah.
This does look very comfortable, though.
Yeah, I would like to walk on this barefoot.
Yeah. In fact, this one I clicked on says long 6-inch wool pile. So it's definitely a term that they use in the rug world.
This kind of reminds me of, I had a family friend, we were on vacation, and a big group of us, and there's a big puddle of water, and this friend said, look out, there's a big pile of water here. There's just certain ways I don't normally hear pile.
Yeah. You're just trying to think of the word in the moment and you can't, so you just use some other word. A pile
There's
of
a
water.
flog of water.
Yeah, that works. It fits. Okay, sound effect time.
All right.
It was a short one.
Track 4
Track 4.
is, I believe, Istanbul.
Yes.
So the sound effect, of course, has to be, oh.
Do you have neighbors that can hear you?
I sure do.
I hope so. Did you ever see? You might have been a little too young, but maybe later the Tiny Toons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the exact right age, I think, for that.
Like 4.
With what?
Well, how like 3 or 4?
Well, Tiny Toons, I'm gonna guess, came out in '91. So, but it continued to air for more years. So yeah, probably was 4 or 5 watching it.
We're guessing. Oh, okay. Wait. Yes, the Tiny Toons episode with They Might Be Giants was February 1st, 1991.
Okay, look at that.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I definitely
it was.
saw that and didn't know what the hell I was watching.
Yeah, that and we'll get to it, but yeah.
We'll get to it. So, okay, thank you for that wonderful sound effect. That was some beautiful singing, and that's definitely in the song, I know for sure. Because now...
Good. Finally.
Yeah, now we have the word flood. This is the first form of flood, noun from before the 12th century. And can you please describe to me the image on the cover of Flood?
Okay, so I believe it is... I actually don't know what the origin of it is, and I've even been working on a puzzle of this image.
Oh, yeah, I have that puzzle too.
Boy, it's hard. It's all green. But yeah, it's like a flood. It's kind of water as far as you can see, and there's a man in there's a man in a rowboat in the distance, but I think in the foreground there's a man in like kind of a makeshift boat out of like a shelf or something, and he's like oaring along with like whatever long, like a mop or something.
Yeah.
Am I right about this at all?
You're very close, yeah. So this image, there might be a couple different versions, like square, rectangle, or whatever, but this one that I'm looking at is he's in a makeshift boat, but the boat is made out of basically buckets and boards.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. And he's got a stick as an oar, but you can't see what's at the end of the stick, so it could be a broom or mop handle.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing.
Yeah.
Right. You don't see like a mop head or anything.
No.
I wonder what that is. That's a big flood.
So yeah. So the wiki, the They Might Be Giants wiki says the photograph used for the cover art was found by Flansburgh in the basement archives of Life magazine. It existed as only a contact print on a roll of film shot by famous photojournalist Margaret Burke White. It was in a series of photographs of Kentucky flood victims around the year 1930. Another photograph from that very same shoot has become quite well known. It is of people standing in a bread line in front of a billboard poster of a happy family in a car with the words "America, highest standard of living." It is featured in the Best of Life and has become synonymous with the Great Depression, even though the events surrounding the photographs are unrelated to it.
Huh.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Boy, those guys, they find the most interesting things, don't they?
They do. Oh, wait, there's more. Flansburgh says that when he initially found the photo, he wanted Flood's cover art to include only the image with no text, even though it might pose a commercial risk. His inclined friend who took the photo from the back cover of They'll Need a Crane suggested that the image would in fact be improved with text, so she and Flansburgh created the Union Seal-style Flood emblem with the help of Barbara Lipp of Frida.
I was gonna say that's so ingenious, but yeah, I was thinking that would be a really striking cover with no text on it. But the only way to to make it even better is to make one of the coolest, I think, sort of album logos ever.
Right.
That Union What do you
Yeah,
call it?
it's like a five-sided thing. There's like a I guess the not the pentagram, but the
Pentagon.
pentagon in
Yeah.
the middle, and then the FLOOOD come out from there as sort of
Yeah.
triangle shapes. And yeah, I mean everybody's probably seen that Union logo. So yeah, they just decided to use that, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the word flood, and then we'll see
All
if
right.
any other They Might Be Giant stuff comes up while we're talking about that.
Right.
I also want to know, and maybe it's in here somewhere, but I'm very curious to know, why did they decide on the word flood as the name of the album?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we'll look into that later. So 1A for flood is a rising and overflowing of a body of water, especially onto normally dry land. Also, a condition of overflowing, as in rivers in flood.
Ah, the river is in flood.
Yeah, it's flooding over into places that are usually dry, and then the animals who are living there are like, why?
They're like, I'm confused. The fish are like, I can go so high now.
My world got so huge.
Yes. I was afraid of floods growing up, but then my parents pointed out that we lived on top of a big hill, and anytime it rained, we just watched the rain go down the hill, and so
That cured
that
you.
eased my worry.
Yeah. Do you still have a little fear?
Um, Probably not enough. I
Not enough.
because yeah, I once took the New York subway during like a big like flash rainstorm, and boy, that was once I got stuck in the tunnel, I was pretty scared. I was like, "Uh-oh, am I gonna look out the window of this subway train and see a fish winking at me?"
I hope that did not happen.
It did not. Everything was all right, but
But yes,
there was no real need to get on the train that day, I think. That should have been a work from home day, I think.
Yeah, right. Oh boy, yeah, I can imagine like going into the subway during a big rainstorm could be tricky.
They have flooded sometimes, the subway stations, depending on where they're located. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, scary. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the idea of living higher, so you don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
get so
I
affected.
also now I live on the 4th floor, so
Oh, you're
like,
fine.
It's not
You're
gonna
fine.
get me.
No, even with climate change and the snow caps melting, you're gonna be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. There is a snow cap right outside my window, though. So
Oh.
and a
Well,
flow.
A flow too, yeah.
Yeah.
That then you might have some problems. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Good luck with that. Hopefully we can finish this record before you get flooded.
Ooh, a ticking clock. That's good for drama.
Yes, exactly. The suspense is killing me.
Yeah.
Okay, 1B for flood is capitalized. This is a flood described in the Bible as covering the earth in the time of Noah. What do you know about the Noah flood story?
That's funny. I was just listening to a different podcast that was talking about the Noah flood story, and it makes me want to make all the same jokes, but I
Hey.
will not do that.
There's no crossover here. Go for it.
Well, this was Zach Woods on Seth Meyers' podcast, and he rightly pointed out like that is an interesting Bible story that like really focuses on like animals mating, right? Like it's a big focus is like we got to get these animals,
Yeah.
in heat.
Get them doing their stuff.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's weird. I wasn't raised particularly religious, but my dad was raised Catholic, and he doesn't like practice, but he believes. And my parents went on a vacation with their friends and ended up at this sort of like creationist recreation of the Ark.
It's like a museum.
Yeah, I think so. And there were like dinosaurs in there with
As
the
there
other
should be.
animals. And
Yes.
and I asked my dad about it. It was more their friends wanted to go there. I asked my dad about it, and he was like, not that he really thought about that story all that much, but he was like, I gotta say, looking at this, all this does is make me question my belief in the story altogether. This makes no sense.
It doesn't. Oh, it really doesn't. Yeah, I've heard of people, at least one person, I think, making like a life-size replica of the Ark.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That is, but is it true? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Was that
Man.
Evan?
Yeah, right. Evan Almighty, yes.
Yeah,
That's what it
did
was.
That.
He definitely did. Yeah, it's a crazy story. I mean, the whole thing is a crazy story. So like, yeah, like, okay, sure, there might have been like a huge flood at a certain point in time all those years ago, but like, it's not like he was taking all the animals and putting them on. Also, if that was like all the people left and it was just his family who had to repopulate Earth, then it was all like incestual and we're all related to this. I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, where were the dinosaurs?
Right. Well, yeah, now I think about it, like, okay, somebody in ancient times experienced a flood, and then it was recorded as, yeah, the whole world flooded. There was this guy named Noah, and he just got every animal on Earth. And by the way, he lived to be 800.
Oh, yes, of course.
Who was this guy? Who was writing this?
Yeah.
This was the textbook exaggerator.
He happened to find one male and one female from all of the species, all of the billions and trillions of species of animals and insects out there. And he brought them
and
all
so
onto
like
the Ark.
for all the mammals, was Noah going around like, and he had to duck down and like
Yeah, he had to check them all. Yeah.
check for their parts. And then for non-mammals,
Lizards.
some of those are hard to tell.
Yeah.
Snails,
Yeah.
sure. I couldn't tell you. We get
No.
snails out here sometimes. I can't tell.
And you check,
the sex
too.
of the. I do. I pick up I'm inspecting every inch of this snail, and I have no idea what sex it is.
No, you got some learning to do. I
Yeah.
do love all the jokes that have come from the whole Noah flood story. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like the Far Side, I think, did some where it was like, the unicorns or the dinosaurs got left off the boat, so that's why they went extinct. And then there's
Right.
like, what about the unicorns and those fantastical creatures? They didn't get on the Ark, so that's why they don't exist
Right.
these days.
That's why.
Yeah. The flood.
The flood.
So, number 2 for flood is the flowing in of the tide. The tide comes in at a certain point in the day, and it sort of floods that area. It's kind of crazy that happens like twice a day.
Wait, what do you mean? What's twice a day?
Well, the tides, right? Like, the
Oh,
tide goes out.
The high tides.
Yeah, the high tide, and then there's the low tide. So, like, that change
okay.
happens, I think, like twice a day,
I
give or
see.
take.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Number 3 is an overwhelming quantity or volume.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a state of abundant flow or volume, and this is often used in the phrase "in full flood."
In full flood.
In full flood. There's an example: a debate in full flood. So there's so much quantity or volume of debating. It's in full flood, right? I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's just so full of debate.
And an abundant volume of debate has reached my ears.
Such a normal way of saying that.
Yeah. It feels very old.
If you have an abundance of stolen petrol to sell, you'd say, I've got a flood to flog.
What the fuck? I gotta flog all this flood. There's too much flooded petrol. I gotta flog it.
I've got petrol in full flood. I said full flog.
Ah, you screwed it up.
I screwed it up.
Number 4 for flood. The synonym is floodlight, which is coming up in this episode if we ever get to it.
What is? I see. I see what you mean. Yeah. Right. You can say turn on the floods.
The floods, yeah. We gotta see what's going on out there. Oh, and maybe they're on a sensor, and you walk by, and then the flood hits you. You're like, I'm not trying to steal anything. I'm just walking by at night.
That's what I say to every light that hits me.
Yep, every single one.
While I'm inspecting slugs' genitals.
Snugs and snails. Check
Slugs
it out.
and snails.
What's like? Because you are building an ark for the upcoming flood.
Yeah, just in case.
I mean, honestly, I think we have more reason to worry about that now than ever before with the ice caps melting.
I know, it's true. Like, the whole world could flood.
Yeah. Anybody who lives along the shore around the world could very well be screwed in the next 10, 20 years.
I think
Florida's going to be gone.
Well, that's all right. But but I kind of think we should believe science more.
I do too. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I think we should believe loud idiots less.
Because they are loud and because they are idiots.
Right. They're stupid.
Yes. They don't know what they're talking about.
Right. So, like, don't listen to them.
Please don't listen to them. I beg of you.
Mm-hmm.
This word flood.
You have a lot of Trump voters who listen to this, right?
Oh, yeah.
We'll change their minds
Not
today.
now. Yes, I am sure most of my 50 listeners are Trumpers. This word flood is from the Old High German fluot, which means flood, akin from the Old English flauan, which means to flow. That's pretty much it there. Something is
there's
flowing.
flow again.
Yeah, it's flowing so much that it's flooding.
It's flooding.
Speaking of, can I have now a new sound effect?
Yes. So now we're on to track 5, which of course is dead. Okay.
Yeah.
So the sound effect, I'm going to do the backup part. I'm enjoying the bridges today. So I'm going to do the backup part of the bridge, which goes like this. And
I love that somebody who has never heard this album before is getting like just the most random, strange pieces of these songs.
I'm kind of song explodering these songs, but only
Exploding,
one piece.
Exploding, but deleting 99% of the explosion and keeping just the one tiny little thing. So I really hope that if you're very confused, even for fans of They Might Be Giants, you might also be very confused. I think you should go listen to all of these songs again after this episode. This is wonderful.
Well, last time I feel like I relied too much on like the main melody and the lyrics and stuff, and I want to honor that it's a sound effect.
Yeah. You're digging deep. I love it.
Deep.
I love it. Dig deep into those sounds. So now we have the second form of flood, which is a verb from 1663, starting with transitive, which is number 1, to cover with a flood. The synonym is inundate.
Ah, I like that word, inundate.
Yeah, that's a good word. I love the idea of, I'm just going to cover this with a flood.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna cover it real quick with a flood.
Yeah, I don't want to see this anymore, so I'm just gonna cover it with a flood.
When I have something I don't want to see, I cover it with a flocati rug.
A flocati rug, much more comfy than a flood.
Yeah. I prefer piles to floods.
Yeah, when you decide not to clean your place, and because there's dust all over the place, you just put a flocati rug down.
I flood it with flocati.
You flocati it.
That's right.
Number 2A for flood is to fill abundantly or excessively, as in flood the market. I think that I have flooded the podcast market with my podcast episodes.
Yeah, that's true. You have a lot of episodes. I've flooded the podcast market with
Yourself?
just like unnecessary improv from non-known comedians.
I don't think did you say unnecessary? I don't think it's unnecessary. I think it's pretty necessary.
I agree. I'm being a little self-effacing here,
Sure.
but
Which we like.
doesn't it kind of endear you to me a little bit?
Oh, of course. It's
yeah, I'm
fun.
manipulating you.
And gaslighting, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Floodlighting.
Oh.
We haven't heard that word yet.
No, we can't talk about it.
No, I mean, podcasts are cool. It's like one of the only things left that you can just do.
Yeah, really. It's so easy to do that we just do it. And we're like, I don't care if this is good or if people like it. I'm just going to do it anyway because I like it.
Yeah, I created a thing for you if you'd like
And-
or not.
And if not, just don't review it at all. Don't give me a 1-star review.
I'm
just
telling you, this
move along.
maniac giving 1-star reviews.
What's that?
I'd like even one review.
Oh, well, in that case, I think everybody should go check out Big Town
Yeah, Big Town Improv.
and go write a 5-star review. Post haste right now, please and thank you, stat.
Don't even listen. It's a waste of time.
No. Don't listen. Definitely don't listen. Especially not to the episode that I was on. Just write a review and don't think, just write.
That is a very good episode, though. I'll just
One
say.
of the best.
One of the
I'm
best.
sure.
It is, I mean, it's a really funny episode.
Hey, if you're laughing, then everybody's laughing.
There you go.
Number 2B for flood is to supply an excess of fuel to so that engine operation is hampered, and the thing that you might be putting all of this fuel into is an engine or its carburetor. And I have definitely heard in movies, they're like, you're going to flood the engine. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, but and now that I see this definition, like I feel like in movies they're already driving, right? They're like, you're gonna flood the engine.
I think it's when they're trying to start the car and it's not starting, and then they're like hitting the gas and trying to do the thing, and they're like, oh, you're gonna flood the engine. You're gonna put. I mean, listen, I know that I'm very smart and I have learned all of these things from watching movies. And they're like putting all the gas into the engine, but the engine is like, I can only take so much of this gas. I am flooding.
Right, I see. Because and now I realize the mistake I made, which is I was picturing like you're pumping the gas and someone's gonna be like, you're gonna flood it. But no, I guess when you pump gas into your car, it doesn't go directly to the engine and carburetor.
No, it does not. The car is not running at that time. It's not it's not going. It's just going into the gas tank, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
See,
Look, I live in New York. I don't drive.
Yeah.
I'm walking here.
I also have, 10 years of life experience on you. So I know
true.
some things. I know some things that you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know that there's a gas tank in a car.
Yeah. That's about all I know. So now we have intransitive, which is number 1, to pour forth, go, or come in a flood.
Okay. I wish there was an example here to pour
Please.
forth, go, or come in a flood. It's flooding, but didn't we kind of do that's inundate?
Yeah. This is the intransitive. So it's like the action is happening to the thing. So to pour, like the water is flooding because it's pouring over. Something like that.
This is an unnecessary definition. I'm going to cross this out from the dictionary.
Very good. Very good. When you're done with your cross-outs, I would like to receive yours so I can see all the strike-throughs.
Yes, yes.
Number 2 is to become filled with a flood. The basin, the dry basin was flooded. The city that lived in the valley was flooded because of the dam broke over there.
Right. It was flooded. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a lot easier, like, because that's urgent and you want to tell people quickly. So you don't want to, like, run up the hill and be like, the town has become filled with the flood.
No, that's way too cumbersome. You got to say,
right.
the town flooded.
Oh, okay. We can help.
We get
now.
it. Yeah. Flutter is a noun. Flutter.
You know what I think is one of the main flutters? Rain.
Oh, that's a big flutter.
Yeah. Rain is a flutter.
Rain loves to flood.
Rain loves to flood.
It's one of those things that people say. Rain.
It's that old saw. Rain loves to flood.
The old wives are talking about how rain just loves to flood.
Mm-hmm.
I need another sound effect from you.
All right, track 6. Let's see. After dead is Is it your racist friend?
Bingo.
Wow. Okay. And there's a trumpet in the middle, and it goes brr, brr, something like that.
Accurate. The next word is floodgate. One word noun from the 13th century. Number 1, a gate for shutting out, admitting, or releasing a body of water. And the synonym, this is a fun word, sluice. S-L-U-I-C-E.
I actually know this word. It's sluice. And
no.
Okay, sorry, it's sluice. And but the reason I know it is because my parents inexplicably are huge fans of I guess it's on like National Geographic or something, this show called Gold Rush, which is a long-running reality show that just shows these people who pan for gold as a profession, and they're always talking about sluicing.
The action of sluicing?
Yes, because that's what you do is like you run water like along some dirt, and then some gold will come out.
Yeah, so they got the pan and they put
right.
the silt, the dirt from the bottom of the river, and they pick it up in their pan, and then they're shaking it around, and then the dirt goes through the little holes, but the gold particles are supposed to stay on top. So is that the action of sluicing?
I think so, yeah. And what I remember also on that show is they have a device for sluicing, which they named Slucifer.
Lucifer.
It sounds like I'm making this up, but this is real.
No, not at all. I believe it. I'm aware of the show, but I've never watched it. So the gate for shutting out, admitting, or releasing a body of water. That's so many possibilities of things that you can do with the body of water. It's sluicing.
It's sluice, and it's floodgating.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody's gonna have to wait until the S's to talk about sluice.
Yeah.
Sluice John B. I don't know. Number 2, something serving to restrain an outburst, as in opened the floodgates of criticism.
Yes. I was going to say floodgate, the main thing I think of is it's a very good metaphor for trying not to cry, right? Don't you hear that?
Yeah.
Open up the floodgates.
Right. I can't. I gotta keep the floodgates closed. I don't want to cry.
It makes me picture like there's like an actual like gates just behind your eyes. Like, there's too many tears. Keep it closed.
But the funny thing is, I imagine gates as like wrought iron gates that don't There's like they're mostly whole than solid
right.
thing.
That's not gonna work. That's gonna make the tears come right out.
Those floodgates aren't helpful at all.
Those are bad floodgates.
Bad floodgate. Bad floodgate.
Hey, quit flogging the floodgate.
I stole it. I stole the floodgates.
No, you were whipping it. Boy, you don't know what flog you're talking about.
No, I really don't. Yeah, I don't open the floodgates much in terms of crying. I usually keep it tight, but every once in a while the floodgates will open a little bit.
Yeah, do you remember that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Oh yes, I sure do.
Great movie. And there's the monologue that Ki Hui Kwan's character gives at the end, the husband. And I remember the first time I saw it, I found it very moving, and I think it brought a tear to my eye. And then I was watching it again with like on a date. With I've talked to a girl before, and I remember, and that part was coming on. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this is like emotional, and like, but it won't affect me this time. And for some reason, because I like got it in my head that like I wasn't gonna let it affect me, I just stored up all this like emotion until eventually I made the like loudest cry sound where this funny dad character is talking, and I just went like
She loved that, I'll bet.
Yeah. She's like, all right, you're a pretty tough guy, huh?
Yeah. The floodgates, it sounded like they just sort of popped open briefly.
Yeah, just popped right open.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, boop, boop.
And then you shut it down real quick.
Yeah.
Keep it in.
This is how real men cry, okay?
Yeah. Oh.
You don't let it out.
No, just in little bits and pieces where you sound really, really awkward.
Right.
Yeah.
That's manly.
Super manly. Super manly. Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
What movie?
Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Oh, yes. I thought I thought there was something called Super Manly.
No, but there should be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's time for another sound effect.
All right, track 7. Uh-oh.
I would not be able to come up with what tracks most of these are by number.
I know. I love that. I do love testing myself like this.
Yeah.
But I might need a hint on this one.
This was the other one. I mean, this isn't a hint. It's the giveaway. It's the other one from Tiny Toons.
So it's Particle Man, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sound effect goes like this.
This is the word floodlight, first form, noun from 1922. 1A, artificial illumination in a broad beam. It's like such a big beam. It's like flooding the whole area.
Yeah. The floodlights are like what's on like a football field, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I picture these big rectangular things with like a bunch of different like,
and the light goes out very wide to fill as much space as possible. Otherwise, it would be like a spotlight. It would be very narrow.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. A broad beam.
A broad beam.
1B. Yes?
No, I was just looking at the phrase artificial illumination. I like that.
Yeah. Artificial. It's illumination that is completely fake.
Yeah, they made it up. Wait, what does that mean?
It doesn't exist at all. It's not from the sun.
Okay, all right.
I think that's literally what it means.
Okay.
It's from human-made things.
Right, okay. It's from light bulbs.
Yeah, light bulbs. Exactly.
Got it.
Number 1B is a source of such illumination. Is the floodlight. The floodlight is creating the floodlight.
That's right. That's true of most lights, isn't it? I've never
It is.
thought about that before. You're like, turn on the light, and then the light comes out of it.
The light creates the light.
The light makes the light, and then
Whoa.
you flog the flog.
You do. You sell the stolen goods that are stolen. Number 2 for floodlight is a lighting unit for projecting a broad beam of light. Well, that's pretty much the same thing that you just told me.
I'm crossing it out.
Yeah.
That's just the combination of the other two. Actually, it's just the second one, really.
Yeah, pretty
said
much.
again.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So that means we need another sound effect.
All right. It must be twisting is next.
Yeah.
And so the sound effect goes.
Fantastic. Oh, I love your memory on this stuff. I would be so bad at this game. I'm glad you're on that side.
Well, I chose to do this to myself, so.
That's true. That's true. So now we have the second form of floodlight, which is a verb from 1923, which is to illuminate by means of one or more floodlights. One or more. Not just one, maybe 2 floodlights. Floodlighting the situation.
Yeah. They had to make that distinction, or else like some.
The lawyers would come down on them.
Right. You're like, look, it's being floodlit. No, it's coming from multiple floodlights. It's still called that when it comes from multiple floodlights.
Still
sir,
floodlit.
Or madam.
It was floodlighted.
It was floodlighted.
Yeah.
Mr. Lawyer person.
I don't have any floodlights.
You don't have any?
No. That's very sad.
I don't think Spencer, I think that's okay. A lot of people don't have floodlights.
Okay, now I don't feel so bad. But I am seeing your cat is clawing your chair.
Hey, Wawa, can you not claw my chair?
Please don't ruin my furniture.
Yeah. You have so many things to scratch.
Yeah. Not that. Not that.
Not that.
It's sound effect time.
Sound effect time.
You're not going to get
what-
all of them, so you could skip some if you want.
That's true. Nah, we'll do it in order.
In order. Okay, great.
But what's next?
Prosthetic foreheads.
Oh, I almost said that. So it's We Wanna Rock.
Yeah.
Perhaps my favorite song on the album.
Ooh.
So let's see. Well, I guess I'll just do the little intro, which is
Perfect. Wonderful sound effect. This word is floodplain. One word noun from 1873. Number 1, level land that may be submerged by floodwaters. And then real quickly, number 2 is a plain built up by stream deposition. So it's like the plains of the Midwest. They're very flat, and they could so easily be flooded.
So you name it after the disaster that could happen to it?
Yep. It's like Hurricane Alley or Tornado Alley.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, I see. It's the floodplain.
Yeah. It's the plains that could so easily be flooded.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to live in the floodplain.
No, I would stay away from the floodplain and Hurricane Alley and Crime Alley too.
Crime Alley is not good. Nightmare Alley also not fun.
That's right. Yeah.
Also,
if I go to Nightmare Alley, I might turn into a geek.
Yeah, you might. Those carnival people have the geeks.
Yeah. I'll do something awful to a chicken.
And I also would really like to stay away from Earthquake Avenue.
Where's that?
It's along the Ring of Fire.
I don't want to go to Natural Disaster Boulevard.
Oh, yeah. All the terrible things happen at Natural Disaster Boulevard. It rolls off the tongue so easily.
Maybe that's what that song Dirty Boulevard is about. The Lou
Natural
Reed
disasters.
song. Yeah, he's like, I don't want to go there. It's gonna rain on me. That's not how he talked. He had like a Brooklyn accent, I think.
There's going to be floods and other bad things.
There's going to be floods.
Aliens
I'm
coming
Lou
down.
Reed, and I'm Jason Statham.
Oh, it's come back to Jason Statham. Okay, let's do another sound effect.
Okay.
Do you need a hint?
Well, I think I know this song. Is it Someone Keeps Moving My Chair?
Yeah.
And so now I just keep doing the intros, but
Yeah, that's easy.
it's like
Yeah. I also think of bop, 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 bop.
You know, there's that drum fill on the
Yeah.
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 Now we have flood tide. 2 words, noun from 1719. Number 1, a rising tide.
Okay.
That seems clear.
This really is a flood centric page.
It sure is.
Yes.
It's like more than half. Number 2A is an overwhelming quantity. So much, I'm overwhelmed by how much there is. And 2B is a high point, and the synonym is peak. So you want to go up. You want to go up so high that the tide from the flood can't reach you. You call that a flood tide, I guess?
I've reached the flood tide, which is relevant to the movie Flow.
Oh,
highest
very
peak.
much.
Look, it's relevant actually to my interpretation. I'll just say this one part of it.
Yeah.
You just saw this cat back here trying to
Sure
destroy
did.
my home. What a cat's instinct is to be high up.
Yes.
And so to be chased by a flood tide is kind of one of the worst experiences an animal whose instinct is to be high up can experience.
Or is it the best because it forces them to be high?
Well, but they're run out of
Options.
to get even higher.
Yes,
And there's a turning point in the movie where there's no higher the cat can go.
Yeah.
And
That
it's
was a
very moving,
scary
I think.
friggin' scene.
It was.
I got really
Yes.
nervous.
Wait, no. There's 2 points actually where he can't go higher. One early and one at like the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very interesting thing to think about.
Okay. Well, we'll quickly get a little bit extra on that at the end.
Yeah.
So the flood tide is a couple of things. We just got a few more, so these sound effects are gonna come quick. We got give me another one. Next one, track 11.
Is it minimum wage?
No, you're one off.
Okay.
One
what is it?
right before that. Hearing aid.
Oh. Beep 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 beep.
Okay, this is now floodwater. 1 word. Noun from 1791. This is the water of a flood is the flood water. That's it.
Are you allowed to do that when you write the dictionary?
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
That would have gotten me a 0 on vocabulary test.
Did they make you give definitions for those?
I feel like actually, yeah, this is an age difference thing possibly, because when I was in high
Also
school.
a memory difference.
Well, no, because the SATs were really changing when I was in high school. It was like the point where they added a third part and then they got rid of it later. But like vocabulary was a big part of it, and they were always like, you cannot use the word in
the definition.
The definition, because that's cheat. Like, I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I could be like, flog. It means to flog, but that's
Right.
that's true.
Yeah. Well, and the difference here is that they broke up the word flood water into the
Right.
water,
The water
of a flood.
flood.
See, we're not breaking the rules. We didn't say the flood water.
Yeah, but if I was, I just, what's the job of the dictionary here? Like, if I was hanging out with my friend and they were like, look at the flood water, and I'm like, huh? And I go and look at the dictionary, the water of the flood. Well, I still don't know what that is.
Right. I could have figured that out on my own. Give me something
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
Come on.
dictionary.
Stupid. So stupid. Give me another sound effect.
Here! Dun, 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 dun.
Wait, you missed a really important part.
What's that?
Whoopsh.
There you go.
Yeah. Now we have floodway. One word noun from 1928. It is a channel for diverting floodwaters.
Right, and we established earlier that way means of ice.
Oh, yeah. Right. The land of ice, right?
Land
yeah.
of ice,
So
yes.
floodway is the
Is the flood of ice.
of
Oh,
ice.
that doesn't sound good.
No, that's a flow.
That's a flow or an avalanche.
Ugh.
But
Want to
that's
get
not
away
what
from
it
the
means,
floodway.
actually. It's
No.
a channel for diverting floodwater.
We are being silly, people, if you
We're
couldn't
being
tell.
silly. But do you think floodway is near Norway?
Yeah, they probably have some floodways.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. All the floodways in Norway.
The Norway floodways.
Are these the Norway floodways? I'm gonna flog them.
I'm Jason Statham, and I'm gonna flood your floodways. Norway. I don't know.
And I'm the guy from Flogging Molly.
I need one more sound effect from you.
All right. After minimum wage, it is. Dun, dun, ticka, dun, 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 ticka, dun, right? Never know what you find when you open up your letterbox tomorrow.
Which is like the hardest line for me to say ever.
Really?
I can't
it's-
say those words. It's so fast.
That's a tough one to sing along to.
You'll never know what you find when you open up. Blah, blah, blah. That's about what I get.
That is hard, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did a really good job at it.
I wasn't thinking about it. Now, if I tried again,
Right.
I don't know.
You never know what you find when you open up
you
your
open up
letterbox
your letterbox
tomorrow.
Do you
Gotta really
remember
enunciate.
there was that compilation of They Might Be Giants covers, and OK Go covered that song, and they do it even slower than that, which
Oh,
I
good.
think was a real cop out.
No, it's smart. It was very smart.
Know what you find when you open up your letterbox.
I don't think I've heard this album. I think I need to know more about this later.
Some of the songs on it are good.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. The last word on this episode it's a good one. It's flooey.
Amazing.
Amazing. Flooey. Adjective from 1905. The synonyms are awry and askew.
It's
As
gone
in the example-
flooey.
Go flooey.
It's gone all flooey.
I think you and I have gone very flooey today.
I think your podcast has gone flooey today.
Every time you come on the show, it goes flooey.
Guilty as charged.
You're such a flooey flogger.
I'm a flooey flogging flocati rug.
The origin of this word is unknown, and I love that when we don't know where a word comes from. Like somebody just said it, and there's no documented evidence of it. I mean, there must be a first time it was ever in print, right? Yeah, Yeah, but it doesn't say like it doesn't know, and it knows that it came before that, but it doesn't know when and where it came from. Well, we know when, 1905, but we don't know like what was
That's
the context,
weird.
right? We know it came from 1905. We know somebody said it or wrote it, but we don't know what the context was. Flooey.
Or who they were.
Yeah, right. I hope it was like Mr. Flooey. This is named after Mr. Flooey.
Yeah, maybe it was like a kind of a silly, like clownish character named Mr. Flooey, and like they do know, but they just kind of they're like, we don't want to say. They're like, where did this word come from? It came from me, Mr. Flooey. They're like, we don't know where it came from.
Nah, I don't think so. Well, given that, I love that voice. Well, given this wonderfully weird last word, you must now pick a word of the episode, and
Gosh,
you got it.
so
You got to
many
pick a
great
good
ones.
one. I will quickly reread them. We had flocking, flow, flog, flocati rug, flood, flood, floodgate, floodlight, floodplain, flood tide, flood water, floodway, and flooey.
Gosh, oh man, there's so many good choices. I think I gotta go with flog.
Flog.
That was the standout. Like I feel it, I should do flood, but I gotta go flog.
Can you quickly sing a song about flog, I mean.
I actually can't, but my guest here, Jason Statham,
Okay.
can sing a song. Jason, take it away. I flogged me flog up on a bog and went down to the creek and flogged the flog along the log, and that's of which I speak. Flog!
Flog! That was a wonderful song, Jason Statham. You are such a good singer. Well done.
Thank you.
Can you... Okay, so I only have a few minutes because Sharon's actually going to pick me up soon. But what I need to know from you is, first of all, where people can find you, what they need to know about what are your plugs, and also your quick interpretation of the movie Flow.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at The Josh Pilch Show, or on my podcast, Big Town Improv. And you should check out the PBS Kids show I work on, both the show and its accompanying computer games. It's called City Island on PBS Kids. And, okay, flow. So all the animals are operating on pure instinct, I feel like, from the beginning, which is why the capybara is such an important piece of it, because the capybara is one of the only animals that just by instinct is kind of friendly to all other animals. But the lemur wants to get shiny things, the dog wants to play, and the cat, there's lots of different things, but you keep seeing him, he wants to go high, he wants to keep going higher and higher. And then this weird ass bird shows up, and it's kind of like changing the whole, way this, group of animals works. And like, I believe it's the first time that the cat does a slow blink, which cat owners might know. A cat, when they blink really slow, it means that they love or respect
and trust
the thing. So it's kind of the first thing that this loner cat trusts. Ultimately, he's still at the climax of the movie, he's still pulled away from this group of animals that has helped him survive up until now, and he finds this crazy mountain that he sees the bird go up, and he goes all the way up this mountain. He's going as high as he can possibly go. That's what cats like to do. They like to go high. And then this bird seems to get like raptured or something. Like, it's hard to interpret this scene, and I kind of like it being open to interpretation, but it feels some cosmic thing akin to being taken to a higher plane seems to be happening, and the cat is starting to go up, but then he gets dropped away. He doesn't get to go with the bird. He realizes that going higher and higher there's a limit to that.
Mm-hmm,
And really the highest power maybe for him, this very non-anthropomorphized and instinct-based cat, is in the companions that he's made. And so he decides to go back and swim toward the other animals. He reunites with them, and ultimately they work together to save, I think to save the dogs from the
I think that happens before.
Oh, I mean, they get the dogs off of the little island, but once they reunite on the like green island, they someone gets caught in a boat. I think it might be the dogs.
Well, yeah, then all the water goes down, and the cat saves the cat and the lemur, and maybe the one dog save the rest of them.
That's what I thought.
The other dogs and the capybara, I think.
And that's the first time in the whole movie that you see these animals just help others for the sake of doing it, not based on instinct. And then they find that big Leviathan whale thing that had previously been thriving in the flood and is now beached on land. And the cat just for no reason other than to like be a sympathetic organism in the world goes and sits with it. What?
To say it says thank you, like because the whale helped it.
Yeah. And I think I think that's a very, I don't know. I think that's a fascinating bit of storytelling, and might not even be correct, but is an interpretation that I enjoyed.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie. And then if you stay past the credits, the whale survives.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, you haven't seen that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I gotta check that out.
There's a shot of the whale jumping in the water at the end.
Oh, wow.
Changes everything.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a beautiful film, and everybody should go watch it. And it's a flood, and it's a flow, and it's a flog, and there's maybe a Flocati rug in there somewhere. You gotta look for it. I don't know.
I feel like that scene with the mountain like puts off some people, so that's why But I feel like it is like the key to it being like a next level movie is how strange that part is.
There's a magical realism to the whole thing.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah. Well, Josh, this has been super fun and silly, as I fully expected it would be.
Yes, it has, Spencer. Always such a blast being on the dictionary.
And if people want more silliness from Josh and, of course, Jesse, you got to go check out Big Town Improv, and check out Josh's past episodes if you haven't checked him out.
Yeah.
And Josh will be back. Don't you worry.
Oh,
Josh isn't going away.
I will insist.
Yeah. Have me on again.
Yeah. I mean, you've only asked me once. I insisted the other times.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. Well, we know for sure Glean. At a minimum, Glean is the next one. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. Well, thank you for doing this. This has been a blast as usual. My face and head hurt from smiling and laughing,
Me too.
which I know is always a good sign.
Yes.
And so we are going to end this episode. This has been Spencer and Josh dispensing information. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ta-ta.
Goodbye.